Today, we're looking at a pretty radical idea that could totally flip the way we think about work. We're going to talk about moving from a world where work is constantly pushed onto you to one where you actually get to choose your own path, from something called a quest board. Let's dive in.
I mean, just think about it for a second. It's a universal experience, right? From your very first job bussing tables to whatever you're doing right now, the setup is almost always the same. Someone else, usually a manager, figures out the big picture, breaks it down, and just hands you your little piece of the puzzle. It's so normal we barely even stop to question it.
Well, this system, the one that basically runs every organization on the planet, it has a name. It's called the push system, and it's all about work that's, you guessed it, pushed on you. So this is what we mean by push management. It's super simple, super direct, and we all know it. Work flows in exactly one direction, down, from the top of the food chain to the bottom. A boss assigns a task, a worker does it. The whole engine runs on pressure from above.
But here's where you see this huge disconnect. From the manager's point of view, hey, problem solved. They assign the task, it's getting done. But for the person actually doing it, it often leads to resentment. And you know what happens when someone resents their work, right? They do the absolute bare minimum. So what the company gets is a pretty mediocre result. And that hidden cost, it just multiplies across thousands of tasks every single day.
So what's the alternative? How do you get out of this trap? Well, let's look at a solution that completely reframes the whole thing, using a really powerful metaphor from a world you might already know, the quest board.
Okay, picture this. You're an adventurer in some sprawling fantasy world. You've just arrived in a new town and you walk into the local tavern. You're not there for a drink. You're looking for your next big challenge. And there it is. On the wall is a big wooden board, covered in little bits of parchment. A farmer needs help with a wolf problem. A wizard needs a rare ingredient. You don't get assigned the boring collect 10 rat tails quest just because you're new. No, you get to look at everything that's available, and you choose. You pull your own work.
So how does this actually work in an office? Well, it's surprisingly simple. Step 1, you browse. You look at a central, visible hub of all the work that needs to be done. Step 2, you claim something. You pick a task that speaks to you. Maybe it matches your skills, maybe it's something you want to learn, or heck, maybe it just sounds fun. And step 3, you own it. It is now yours to complete. Your way.
Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Okay, this sounds nice and all, but in the real world, wouldn't it just be total chaos? How could anything important possibly get done?
It's the biggest question, isn't it? If everybody just gets to pick the fun, easy stuff, what happens to all the difficult, messy, or just plain boring tasks that still have to happen for the business to, function?
And this is maybe the most brilliant part of the whole thing. An ignored task isn't a failure of the system, it's the most valuable data the system can possibly produce. It's a signal. It tells you that the work is poorly defined, or that it's genuinely awful, or maybe it's not even necessary. In a push system, a manager just forces someone to do it and the problem stays hidden. Here, that unclaimed task forces everyone to ask, how can we make this work better?
And here's another cool thing. This system gets that contribution isn't an all-or-nothing deal. You don't have to be the hero who slays the entire dragon all by yourself. There are actually a few different ways to pitch in. So there are basically 3 ways to engage. First, sure, you can do the whole thing. Grab a task and see it all the way through. But you can also just do part of it. Let's say you're an amazing graphic designer, but you have no idea how to actually ship a t-shirt. You can just do the design part and leave the rest on the board for someone else. Or, and this is so important, you can just clarify a task. You can be the person who takes a vague, messy idea and turns it into a crystal clear plan that somebody else can then build perfectly.
So what does this feel like day to day? Well, there are no daily check-ins. No one's looking over your shoulder. No one is telling you what to do next. And that might sound like neglect, but it's the total opposite. It's trust. It's a system built on this foundational belief that if you give smart, motivated people real freedom, they will do absolutely incredible things. So we've talked about the how, but the why behind all of this is actually even more profound. This isn't just a new way to manage projects. It's a completely new philosophy of what work is even for. This really gets to the heart of the shift. Think about it. Traditional work is all about extracting value from people. Your job is to be a resource that the company uses up. This new premise is all about amplifying the value of people. It makes a bet that your unique skills and your passions are gifts to be magnified, not resources to be consumed. The whole point is that the time you spend working should actually enrich you, making you more skilled and more capable. And that value you create, the code you write, the designs you make, the strategies you build, that belongs to you. It becomes a portfolio of your own growth that you can carry with you for your entire career.
A system this open has to have some rules, right? But it's not what you'd think. In fact, there is only one single, non-negotiable requirement for every single person on the team.
Once a month, everyone has to spend 1 hour just reflecting, not on their productivity, not on their KPIs, but on their ideal version of the work. What's working for them, what's frustrating. This reflection, this is the feedback loop that allows the entire system to learn and get better. Your experience is the most important data in the whole company.
So that leaves us with one final question to think about. If tomorrow all the work that needed to be done at your company was laid out on a giant quest board for everyone to see, what would you choose to do? And maybe more importantly, what does your answer tell you about where you can provide the most value and where you can find the most meaning?